fans, and welcome to the 4th edition of the Wagner Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Katie Russell, and joining me today are defensive lineman Devontae Barnett and wide receiver Andre Yevchenez, as well as head coach Jason Hotaling. This Saturday, the Seahawks take on Robert Morris in their NEC opener at 12 p.m. A reminder to all fans that this week's game is Youth Football Day, where all kids wearing a youth football jersey will receive free admission. The American Cancer Society will also be on hand to raise awareness with their Making Strides Against Breast Cancer campaign. Visit makingstrideswalk.org/Staten Island for more information. We will also be celebrating the 30th anniversary of the 1985 football team's ECAC championship at Saturday's game. Touchdown Club members, you can still travel with the team to Provo, Utah as the Seahawks face BYU on October 24th. Contact Mike Miller of the marketing department at 718-420-4008. Wagner Athletics will also be providing a fan bus to the football team's game against Columbia on October 10th. The fan bus will depart at 3:30 p.m. from campus and return immediately after the game. Once again, please contact Mike Miller at 718-420-4008. Now let's get started. First with me today is Devontae Barnett. How are you today, Devontae?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. So he is a fifth-year senior defensive tackle. You played for Dominant High School program at Dwyer High School, which annually produces top talents. So tell me a little bit about your recruiting process and why you chose Wagner.
Wagner was just, once I took my visit, being in New York City, I kind of liked the scenery, and just, it was a good change of pace, I'd say, just coming from down south to be in New York City. Like, we don't really have that many big cities down south.
Was this your first time in New York City when you
Yeah.
recruited up here?
Yeah.
Did they take you into the city?
Yeah, and I saw, like, the places where different movies were filmed, and that's what really sold me.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Well, you've been here at Wagner now for 5 years, so as your time as a Seahawk is coming to an end, what has been one of your most memorable experiences here?
Beating Duquesne in 2012.
Good game?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did good. Had, I think 4 tackles.
Nice.
And the comeback win against Holy Cross and the trip to Eastern Washington.
Yeah,
If I had to pick, it would have to be out those 3.
Out of those 3, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So being one of the veterans and on the veteran line with Mike Mentor and Fidel Okoye, I imagine you guys have a pretty strong bond together. Can you kind of discuss how your line works together being veterans?
I mean, we just all know each other, and we know who works best at what. So even though if I'm playing like the end position and Mike's playing the tackle, if I know he's a better fit to beat this O-lineman to the edge, we'll switch. We just know each other good and just know how each other work.
Right, you guys have a good chemistry together.
Great chemistry.
Very good, very good. Well, I wish you well and good luck this weekend against Robert Morris. First conference game,
Thank
go
you.
get him. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
All right,
Bye,
take care.
Devontae. Next up, we have wide receiver and punt returner Andre Yevchenez. Hey, Andre, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. So first and foremost, I have to ask you, you have such a crazy last name. I love it. What nationality are you?
My last name is Russian.
Russian.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Are you just Russian or are you
I'm actually mostly Italian.
Italian? Me
Yeah.
too. Italians rule the world. All right, so anyways, back to football. So you impact the games in a lot of ways. You're, very important on special teams, being the punt returner, which is not an easy task. So, what kind of goes through your head when the ball is in the air and you have 11 people bearing down at you at full speed and your job is to make the first guy miss? Like, what goes through your head?
First thing you gotta do is catch the ball. And then after that, it's just try to do the best you can, get some yards.
Gotta have quick feet, right?
Yeah.
Fast twitch muscles.
Make one man miss.
Very nice, very nice. So, I mean, me personally speaking, especially watching the game on Saturday when you had that one pass when you actually threw it to the kid, I'm sure a couple Seahawk fans were probably worried about the throw, but most probably don't know you were a high school quarterback.
I was.
So did you have any experience returning kicks or punts before coming to Wagner?
Not at all. It was all new to me as soon as I stepped on campus.
And look at you go, you're killing it. That's fantastic. So what's the transition been like going from, a high school quarterback to being a full-time receiver now?
I found it sort of hard, but there was a lot of older guys that helped me out that are still around. And we
Okay.
got a older group that is very experienced, so it helps out a lot.
Very nice, very nice. So one could say that you played out of your mind last week at the game, posting career highs with 8 catches for 148 yards. Obviously, you and quarterback Alex Thompson were on the same page. What did you guys see within the Lafayette defense to allow you to have like such success with those runs?
We sort of knew what to expect just from watching the film.
Okay.
And anyone out there, we knew there was going to be plays that could be made. And it just happened to be me that he was throwing it to on that night, which was nice.
It was really nice. That one touchdown was great. You like faked him and he went in. It was great.
Yeah, it was a good feeling.
Very nice, very nice. Well, good luck this week against Robert Morris. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Have
Thanks.
a good day.
You too.
All right, and lastly, we have head coach Jason Hotaling. Hi, Coach. How are you today?
Great, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. All right, so this week we have a brand new slate starting up. We have, Wagner facing Robert Morris, an NEC opener for both teams. Can you kind of talk about the importance of conference games on the season, especially the very first one?
Yeah, I think everyone's in the same boat now. It's basically a new season. Most of the teams in this conference do what we do. They play one-up game. They play a pretty tough schedule. But the fact of the matter is, it's whoever wins this conference is going to get a bid to the playoffs, and that's the goal we set in mind in January. We set that goal in January. We work towards these games, and the first few games we'll take what we did right, build on that. We'll take what we did wrong, fix that, and then come out this week and play with a great deal of passion and get started the right way.
Do you think you guys have sort of maybe an advantage, let's say, for being able to have the NEC opener for you guys at home compared to being on the road at Robert Morris?
I guess people get to sleep in their own beds. I don't know. I don't think our guys would care where we played this game. I don't think Robert Morris's kids would care where we played the game, whether it was here, there, at a high school right in between. Doesn't matter. It's one field, it's one ball, the same rules, and there's a scoreboard. So it's good.
Yeah. It's going to be good, a big conference game. So kind of the history of this series with Wagner and Robert Morris. You guys are both charter members of the NEC. NEC opened football in 1996, but we've played Robert Morris every year since 94. So our history with them kind of predates the start of the conference. Robert Morris currently leads the series 13-8 overall. However, last year, Wagner posted a late big season win in Moon Township, blanking the Colonials on their own turf 20-0, like 20-0. Kind of any recollections from last year's game?
Yeah, I just remember it being a typical Wagner-Robert Morris game, which is physical. Guys getting after it, playing extremely hard, and obviously they know us, we know them. Very similar offenses in years past, meaning we've basically stayed the same. Them on defense, their offense changed a little bit last year, but really similar opponents, and it comes down to execution. And this late in the year, not this late in the year, but when you get into conference play, it's everybody pretty much knows what's going to go on. Okay. We know what their defense is going to do. They know what our defense is going to do. We know what their offense. So everyone knows each other pretty well. And then it just comes down to one-on-one matchups. Guys, beating blocks and making tackles. Guys blocking people, and then guys with the ball making plays. And then on defense, guys who have to disrupting the ball and making plays. So it's really the game of football. I mean, it's 11-on-11 out there at one time, and whoever wins more of those matchups is going to win the game.
Right, absolutely. So Robert Morris record right now, they're currently sitting with a record of 1-3. Do you think that could possibly be a deceiving record based on the quality of teams that they faced, specifically with the overtime loss to number 17 Youngstown State, and just this week's past game where they are coming off, close to them what the final score might indicate, the 34-10 loss to ranked South Dakota?
Yeah, I think once you start conference play, and I think I said it earlier a little bit, it's a brand new season for everybody. You throw the records out the window, especially like I said, in our conference, sometimes you're playing up games and you're doing things to, help the program out. But right now everyone's 0-0 and it's conference play. And I think if you looked at the history around here and even in this conference, the non-conference record obviously is important, but if you look at, once conference play starts, that's really what matters, and it's really what our kids and every program's looking forward to, and it's basically a new season, and it's a new start, and if you take a look at, the years past, the champions, us, Sacred Heart, those teams, sometimes the conference records have been very, very good, and the non-conference records just okay. And bottom line, new season, new start, ready to go.
Ready to go. Good. So schematically, what does Robert Morris like to do on both sides of the ball?
Offensively, they'll move it around a little bit. They're a little more multiple now than they used to be. Shotgun runs, stuff like that. Some shifting, some motioning. A lot of offenses are similar nowadays, just trying to get the balls into the playmakers' the hands. Defensively, they're very similar to us. Odd front defense, give you a lot of looks, blitz a little bit, play some cover 2. Play some cover 4. Again, it's been the same staffs and both sides. So everyone, it's been the same for a while, here and there. So it'll be a good go.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you really have them scouted. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So kind of a quick recap of last week's game. Quarterback Alex Thompson, he threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 1. He led us on touchdown drives in 3 of our first 4 possessions as Wagner took an early 21-7 lead. How do you think Thompson performed in his first career start?
I think he did well. As a freshman, he's a redshirt freshman, first career start, and he went in there. He commanded the huddle. We didn't have any personnel issues like we had the first home game against Monmouth. We had a couple of those. He got the plays in and out. He was very confident, and guys knew what they were doing. The communication with the offensive line was very, very good. And then he threw the ball pretty well, and then he made some plays with his feet. They were doing some things, dropping 8 defenders, and there was some quarterback run available, so he took advantage of that, and he made some plays. He made some plays, and now we just got to continue to work and finish. And I talked about it last week. We had a situation there where we had the ball 28-24, and it's the exact situation you want from an offensive standpoint, is to have the ball with a chance to win it.
Right.
And we took a sack, which hurt us. And 3rd and 14, he kind of forced the football, and he knows he did it, and he's learned from it, and he'll get better because of it.
Yeah, he's definitely had a lot of room to grow. That's good. That's awesome. So, Yevchenez, he also stepped up big, as I mentioned with him earlier, 8 catches for 148 yards and a touchdown. Can you elaborate a little bit more on his performance?
Yeah, we call him Yevy. It's a lot easier.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yevy.
fine. Yeah, you can call him Yevy. But no, he played well, and he's made plays in practice. You go all the way back to camp. You go all the way back to his freshman year here. I think his freshman year was when I was at Cornell, and when I called down here a couple times, staying in touch and stuff, everyone raved about just his work ethic in practice, and guys on the team have seen him make plays. And what happens in practice carries over for the most part. And he went out there and he was given the opportunity to make plays, and he had the ability to do it. So it was nice. And then obviously, we talk about it all the time. It's a together thing. It's a team game, and he wasn't going to make those catches if the offensive line didn't block, and he wasn't going to make those catches if the quarterback didn't throw it to him. And so yeah, he was the guy who made the plays, and a lot of other guys had something to do with it.
Good, very good. So in your post-game comments after the game, you stressed a lot about finishing drives. I would imagine is that a big emphasis that you're preaching in practice this week?
Yeah, you could say we're preaching that in practice. Yeah, I mean, I obviously have to do a better job coaching, and that's something I talk to the guys all about. I didn't do a good enough job talking about the critical situations. We had the ball 4th and 3, and this was in the first half. And we had moved the ball down the field, and we had it 4th and 3, I think, and we had a safe play called, which is basically we had one play checked with another play, and if they gave us a certain blitz, we would make that check, and we made the check, and then we didn't execute the play. And it was exactly what we wanted against exactly what they were doing. So that one was disappointing. So obviously I didn't do a good enough job coaching that. And then we had another one, late in the game. We had the ball, it was 3rd and 2 going in. We were it was 28-24, and it was on their side of the field. And we had another safe play called, and we just, we didn't execute it. We let a guy run through a gap and made a play in the backfield. And the good thing about our program and our kids right now is even after we did that, where we didn't convert on the 3rd and 2, the punt team came on the field and pinned them on their own 1. So guys responded well to some adverse situations. When we fumbled the football and the defense gave up a touchdown, it was 21-21. Some guys said, well, did the fumble hurt? Well, obviously the fumble hurt. It put the defense in a bad situation. But after that, it was good to see the offense march down the field 11 plays and then kick a field goal to go up 24-21. So it's a whole learning process. And then, I think our safeties, who are very, very good athletes and have performed well, they learned some things as far as in the blitz game and where they have to be and against certain routes. And like I said, we're just building on the things that happened last week.
That's a good thing, though, going into conference.
No
these guys
question.
will be ready. That's awesome. So, homecoming tradition also continued this past weekend with the awarding of the James Robb Memorial Trophy to the Outstanding Offensive Player and the Nick Leah Memorial Trophy awarded to the Seahawks Outstanding Defensive Player. This year's recipients were Yevi for the offensive and Mike Mentro for defense.
Yeah, they both did a great job. I know there's a committee that selects those players, and I know Mike. Mike's a captain, and along with Devontae and Fidel, older guys, and Abel as well, or Abel. Those guys take a lot of pride in what they do, and I know Mike was not happy with his performance against Monmouth, and he came out and showed the kind of player he is, and I was really proud and happy, proud of him and happy for him for the way he played out there. He was all over the field. His effort was outstanding. He leads by example, and he's just a great kid, and I was happy to see him get that recognition. And then, Yevi, we've talked about a lot, but he shined, and that's what those trophies are there for. So.
Yeah, I feel they're both very deserving. So, it's a little bit of a tough start to the season, but like you said, that's non-conference. The big games are coming up now, new slate, everything. How would you assess the team's energy level and their attitudes going into week 4?
Perfect.
Okay.
Exactly what it should be. No, I think, and again, we can't emphasize it enough. You attack each week the same. We talk about it all the time. Every week's a new challenge. Every week's an opportunity. And the only way, you let the past affect you in a negative way is if you let it. That's the only way it can. So we're building on the things we did well. We're fixing the things we did wrong, and the guys are attacking it with the energy that I expect them to. And like I said, everyone's looking at themselves saying, how can I get better? And it starts with me. How can I coach the guys better? Right. How can the assistant coaches coach better? And then the players have all said, what can we do better to make the outcome what it needs to be?
Absolutely.
I want to thank everyone for coming out last week and supporting us at homecoming, especially the Touchdown Club members and all the alum. It was a great atmosphere, and I can promise you the guys are working extremely hard to make the outcome what it needs to be. And we promise to do our part, but thank you very much for doing yours and giving the support to us as coaches and players and in general as a program. It was a great atmosphere. Thanks again.
Wow. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I think it sounds like they have some strong heads on their shoulders. So good luck this week, Coach. This will do it for today's show. I'm your host, Katie Russell, and I hope to see all of you Seahawks at the NEC opener this Saturday at 12 p.m. as they square off against Robert Morris.